All right.
Hello there, and welcome back to That Was the Way, the Mandalorian podcast after show, whatever you want to call it. My name is John Mark Tully, and I am joined today by my co-host, Melissa Miller. Melissa, how are you today?
I'm good, John. Thanks. How are you?
I am well. Well, we are at chapter 10, The Passenger. Okay, before we get started, first overall thoughts on the episode.
This might be the first one I have a little bit of something negative to say. I did overall like the episode, but I think actually in this one, the child was a little bit too much for me. I think I said in the
Okay.
previous,
Okay.
the Marshall, that maybe I could have used a little bit more child. They didn't balance it out properly because in this one I was like, dude, you've got to stop eating those eggs. It was just driving me crazy. So it was like one too
I,
many jokes with that.
Yeah.
How about
Although I
you?
do have to say, everyone out there, try to find someone who looks at you the way the child looked at those eggs.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was just like,
obsessed.
um, I, I, I liked it. I thought it was interesting, and this is kind of uh, getting ahead. But does it seem to you like we went from trimmers now to eight-legged freaks?
Yeah, I mean, that might be the other reason this
And
isn't
I
my
believe
favorite
she has
episode.
frozen up.
Oh, really? I can hear you. You hear me okay? No? All right. How about now?
There you.
Sorry about that. That's
Okay, you're
weird.
better.
Okay. But yeah, this that might be the other reason this
Uh,
isn't my favorite episode is I am scared of spiders. Uh, so I did not enjoy that 10-minute sequence
yeah.
from face hugger to, you know, that whole sequence. Did
Yeah,
not enjoy, especially since I watched it twice to be prepared for this
yeah,
podcast.
I did. Yeah, I did too. I did too. Well, let's start from the beginning. Um, and what did you think of that opening scene? Now, what I read was that was supposed to be an homage to Lawrence of Arabia with the wide open scene and the speeder. I saw it more as the scene in um, Last Jedi where
Mm.
with Ray getting ready to fight Kylo in the TIE silencer, and you see the wide pan and you see the ship coming, and then it goes to close up. That's what I got more
Yeah,
correlation with that scene from not Last Jedi, but Rise of Skywalker,
right.
and this scene with him coming in the swoop bike and
Yeah, I
um
I don't think I really thought about it as an homage or anything. I actually just did really like that it picked up exactly where the last one left off. He sped off and then instead of
yeah,
being on another
exactly.
planet or
Yeah,
any missing time, I kind of liked that it was just right there.
yeah, just boom, they're right back, and he's heading in, and he gets ambushed. This great Mandalorian bounty hunter gets one upped, and
Yeah,
I kind of like that. I like that he's not perfect.
right.
That he can make mistakes, and he can
Yeah,
get caught and get trapped. So
right. It was also
I
like
thought that
the
was
the
very
oldest
cool.
trick in the Ewok book, like just a rope across
Yeah, the
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 valley.
rope across the
Yeah, it was pretty low tech, and maybe that's why it succeeded was because it was low tech. But
yeah,
yeah, no, that was
yeah,
that was interesting. We don't get any backstory for who these people are. I'm assuming other bounty
no,
hunters who are still on the track of the
yeah.
child, but I sort of like that we don't know if they're his enemies or what exactly.
Hmm.
Um, so one of the
Yeah, I
little
like that. I like.
yeah, yeah.
Go ahead.
One of the little mini episodes for this week is an interview with Jake Lent Davis, who's one of the concept artists for the Disney movies, and his design from The Force Awakens. I don't know if you recognized it, the one that's holding the child, with a knife
Yes, I've seen
there.
pictured. Yes, yes,
So
that was
that
cool.
that guy
That's
shows
pretty
up
cool.
later on Jakku, and
Yeah,
so discussions, of course, about whether it's the same character or if it's just surplus
same
costumes that
race.
they had in the closet or what. But
Yeah. Now, one of the there was some speculation, but I know that Favreau has already discounted this rumor. One of the rumors going around was that it was a Jawa. There was
Nice.
a Jawa without its hood, but that's already been discounted. That no, it's not a Jawa because it's not speaking Jawa. It's speaking Huttese.
Mm,
That when you hear it talking, it's speaking Huttese there.
okay. Well, and Jake said the
And I
same
just
thing. When he drew it, it
yeah
was not in any relation to being a Jawa. It wasn't,
yeah
back when he was drawing for Force Awakens, there were, as far as we knew, only Jawas on Tatooine, so it wasn't even in his mind. So,
yeah yeah. Um, I do have to say, seeing the child run across the sand to the Mandalorian was adorable.
agreed.
Just seeing him scurry after, yes, that was just adorable. And I like that was funny. The little him giving him the jetpack and the jetpack shooting him off into the sky.
Yeah, that was pretty good. I have to say that surprised me. I think my husband said he saw it coming. He's like, "Doesn't he have a little?" And but I was still pretty surprised.
Yeah,
I thought that was great. I do wonder what the child thought. If the child can understand that like a bargain was made for his life, and then the Mandalorian like immediately just sort
yeah,
of goes back on that deal. I wonder if he's like judging a little
yeah.
bit. I felt like they exchanged a look.
I don't, yeah, I think they did too. So then we go back to Mos Eisley and back to the cantina. And once again, um, she's in Han's seat.
Right? Yeah.
They are
Yeah.
when you see they're back, they're playing Sabak, and they are in
In that
um,
same booth.
Han. So it's the same booth, right with
Yeah.
Han, right where Han. So I'm wondering if that's like the special booth now, like that's you pay extra to get there, or that's like the status symbol, like hey, hey,
Right.
We want Han's booth now.
Yeah. I don't know if you noticed,
Um,
not in the scene itself, but in the concept art for it, did you notice there's a shot, of her with her feet up on the table and everything, and there's a blaster shot just over her head, you know, where
oh,
like
I
where
did not
Greedo
know. I'll
shot.
have to go back and look.
Yeah, I couldn't see it in the scene itself, but in the concept art, and I kind of love that someone drew it, and I think it's just as well didn't necessarily make it in, but I like that little
Yeah.
detail.
One thing I thought was cool was the fact that she's playing Sabak
Yeah.
with an ant, with a giant ant, and the director of this particular episode directed Ant Man.
Oh, I didn't
Was
know
the
that.
director of Ant Man. So I thought that was a nice little tie-in that you have this
Yeah.
giant ant that she's playing Sabak with,
Yeah. I wonder if that
and
was like a leftover costume too. Like they spent all their budget on the first episode of the season and now they're like grabbing the costumes from Force Awakens, grabbing the costumes from Ant-Man. So,
yeah, all these other movies like, yeah, get this one.
sure.
Um,
Yeah, there's some
but
crossover.
yeah, yeah. And for those of you who are fans of any of the animated shows, the hand that she had, the Idiot's Array, was actually first mentioned in Rebels. There's a
Oh,
episode where the crew of the Ghost meets Lando, and that's the hand Lando has to win. The hand that he's playing is he has the Idiot's Array.
that's great. I want to
So that
learn
was a nice
Sabak.
little exchange. And did it uh, was it just me, or did she seem a little disappointed to see the Mandalorian back? Like
Oh,
she
I didn't
seemed a
notice
little like,
that.
"Oh, you're back." I don't know. She seemed a little like, I don't know, surprised or
Yeah. I'm never quite sure of her
yeah,
intentions, but I didn't pick up on that, but she's definitely got
yeah,
some secret stuff going on, whether or not they choose to explore it anymore. So
yeah. I don't know.
interesting.
But yeah, and she seemed, I don't know. It just seemed a little off to me from the normal.
Yeah.
But
She did get the best line, in my opinion, of the episode, which was "Stop your crying, you'll rust."
yes, yes. And she
Love it.
also. So then we go and we find out that she knows where some Mandalorians are, but there's a hitch to it. Of course, there's always a hitch,
Always a hitch.
and
Hijinks
that
ensue.
hitch is that someone is requesting passage to a nearby system, the nearby system, and that the one caveat is that it has to be at sublight speed.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, there's just
and
a
of course,
one
you
line
find
in
out
there. The eggs will die in hyperdrive. Just one quick little line.
that was the line that got me when it's like she does the frog does it, and
Right.
then she does this whole monologue like she did that, she said that. I paraphrased.
Paraphrase. Yeah. No, but I just like that they're all worried. You can't travel at hyperspeed, because of the eggs. But then, like, they don't buckle in the eggs. They're just, like, there in the cargo hold, like, flying around,
There.
getting eaten and everything.
Well,
Like, I think you could have
yes,
gone
yes,
hyperdrive.
yes. And like I said in my notes, find someone who looks at you like the child looks at those eggs.
And I love that he uses,
Uh,
like when he puts his hand up, they all, like, pull in closer to him. So, yeah, I wrote down in my notes, no, no, don't
um,
eat those. No.
yes, yeah. The child was a little bit of a brat in this episode.
Yeah. I mean,
Always getting into trouble.
yeah, these are the kids that you see at the zoo and they're like
Yeah.
on one of those leash backpacks, Like the Mandalorian needs to rig up
Yes.
something
Yeah.
like that for chapter 11.
And then the next note I have is in big bold letters with exclamation point, X-Wings!
Yeah. Yeah, that was cool to
And I
see.
think, well, and you can see now, it seems to me like the New Republic Navy has been turned into space cops.
Hmm.
I felt like, them coming along and, basically running the plates and just and we've all been there. You can almost see, even though he's wearing a helmet, when they're running the tags and they say when they say they're going to switch to a private channel, you can just
Right.
tell the minute it's like, oh crap,
Uh-oh. Yeah.
oh no.
No, I thought
And
they did a
then
good job with that being like almost a mundane conversation and
yeah,
he
like, all
doesn't
right,
make
what's
any
going on?
moves to accommodate or anything like that. The whole time I'm thinking like can't they see each other through the cockpits? Can't they see that he's not scrounging around trying to fix his ping system or whatever?
Yeah, I
But
don't
I liked
know.
that
Yeah,
mundane conversation and then the X-wings,
mhm.
open up into the X. You're
Oh,
like,
the
"Oh,
S foils lock.
yeah.
You're like, ooh, stuff's about to go down.
Yeah.
A little tidbit about the two X-wing pilots. One is um, I will say John Favreau
Dave
is
Filoni.
Dave Filoni.
Yeah.
The other one, and I can't remember his name, but he is on a Canadian television show called Kim's Convenience,
Oh, okay.
uh, a comedy. Me and my family has watched it, but he was also a member. If I remember correctly, he was a member of the 501st.
Oh, cool.
He's
Very
a
cool.
501st. He's
I love
a
that they're
member of the
giving out X-Wing
501st. So
pilots.
that was cool.
Yeah, I love they're giving out X-Wing pilots
Yeah,
as like
yeah.
coveted extra, glorified extra spots so far in this show. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah. So that was pretty cool to see that and to see kind of like the what the New Republic is doing and
Right.
yeah,
Well,
I
and
can
this
see
is
why Kara got out. She's someone who is like likes action and now all the New Republic is doing is patrolling sectors and
right.
pulling people over and giving traffic tickets
Yep.
basically.
Nope, that's
Um
exactly what I was gonna say
and I
too.
also like the
You can see why she, got out. So for sure.
yeah. I noticed the "May the Force be with you"
Yeah.
little exchange at the end,
What happened to them like
which
not knowing about the
shows
force?
that like I I take it as just something that is just said. Like it's just like, oh yeah, this is what they say in the New Republic now. That's just "May the Force be with you," and also with you. I like that. So if anybody was raised Catholic, they'll
Yep,
you
I
know
was
know
for
that
sure.
little "May the Force be with you," and also
Yeah.
with you.
Yeah. I
I
was
like that little nod, but I kind of took it as that's just
just a
you
thing you
know
say. he knows the lingo. He knows because you would need to know that sort of thing if you're trying to
Yeah,
pass through borders or butter people up. You know their lingo. But I just the contrast of
yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
and him not knowing what the Force was when the child uses it, I was just like, I don't understand how both these things can be true. So, but
Well,
take
I
it
don't think he
interestingly.
understands what the force is. I think it's just like kind of when you say, "Oh, God bless you."
Right.
That doesn't necessarily mean that you're
We don't mean
automatically,
literally. Right.
yeah, you're not like a, it doesn't mean that you're like a Catholic or a Christian or whatever. It just means,
Right.
oh yeah, that's just something you say.
Right. Yeah, fair
So I
enough.
think I kind of see it as the same
Yeah, I
way.
think you're right.
Um, but then of course he decides to make a break for it, which we have that was a fun little scene of them going through the atmosphere and trying to
You
lose the
Yeah. I'm a leaf on the wind.
was
Did you have that? Did you watch
yeah, yeah,
yeah. Just with
yeah,
the
I
shape
saw
of the
that, yeah.
ship and the whole Atmo thing, I was just repeating, I'm a leaf on the wind. I am a leaf on the wind. So very wash. So, but also, if the eggs can't handle hyperdrive,
um
they probably can't handle that either. So, like, buckle them in.
yeah, yeah, yeah. um but so they finally make it, but unfortunately they end up crashing through the ice into an ice cave and really doing a damage to the Razor Crest, and it looks like they're going to be stuck there for a while. So,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah, I think it's interesting that
which,
they do eventually just sort of as is, lift it up out of there and sort of limp back. But yeah, at the time you think,
yeah,
oh, these guys are dead, even before they
yeah,
wander off to the room full of spiders. So
yeah. I did like the frog lady. I don't know what they
that's
never give her
literally what
name,
they
do they?
call her. It's like that's in
Frog.
the credits, I think. So
Frog. Wow. Well, Frog using the droid from last season, Zero,
very
to as the translator, as kind of like a universal translator to translate what she's saying. That was it shows she's a very intelligent
yeah.
creature, intelligent alien, and that she knows what she's doing and kind of humiliates them. I mean, kind of digs at that honor thing right there, saying
Yeah.
oh, I thought the Mandalorians always kept their word.
Right.
Oh, I
Yeah.
thought they were the greatest, and they're just like,
Yeah,
dang it,
considering it's one of the few sort of
really?
like matronly characters or whatever, I did feel like they turned up that mother, passive aggressive guilt pretty well in that
Yes,
character. So, but I did love her hacking the
yeah,
droid. That was
you just, yeah, yeah. And I like him mumbling as he went out the door. This wasn't in the deal. This was,
yeah, it's like, but still doing it. But yeah,
yeah. Um, of course, we have more frog egg eating from Baby Yoda,
I know. Like
just
what that
eating
I
all those eggs.
I just in the later episode, I know it's not going to happen, but I really want someone to like pass off a parenting book to the Mandalorian. Just be like, sometimes just saying no isn't enough. You have to, follow up, and there have to be,
Yeah, exactly,
uh,
exactly.
not rewards, but there have to be consequences. And, it was just driving
Yeah.
me crazy how sort of like, no, and then assuming everything would be fine he was. Um, yeah, I'll just go to sleep. I'm sure everything will be
Hmm.
fine. So,
Yeah.
uh, yeah.
Yeah, that was although now I've seen a bunch of things now on Facebook and other places about how that's why Yoda went to Dagobah. It was probably a planet full of frogs, and that was like he was like the alpha predator there, eating all the frogs.
Right. Yeah, right, exactly. That's the real reason. I love that. Yeah, no, I thought it was interesting that she, sort of decided to wander off. I asked my friends, this is another one of the little mini episodes. I know the herpetologist at the San Diego Natural History Museum, and I asked him some questions about, frogs and geckos, which this sort of seems to be like a mix of those two. In terms of
Hmm.
laying eggs and then her little like hand that looks sticky like a gecko, um, was like, would she be drawn to the heat? Certainly she's a cold-blooded animal and wouldn't do well on an ice planet. So, the fact that she ends
Yeah,
up in a warm area is no
a
accident.
thermal.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. I kind of looked at her, and the first thing I thought was, you know, she looked like what a child between Miss Piggy and Kermit would look like to me. That's kind
Okay.
of what I saw, like a mix of like Miss Piggy and Kermit's like, yeah, well, if they were, maybe that's what.
I mean, haven't you ever watched The Muppets
But
though?
no,
They're either
but
pigs
yeah,
or frogs. So,
that's true. Yes, this is true. Yes,
but
it's usually
we can
both.
write
Yeah,
something
there's
new.
usually like two little baby pigs and two little baby frogs.
Right. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I did like how when she does kind of go off, how Mando tracks her by using his helmet. I like
Yeah.
the little heat sensor. The senses the heat and everything.
Cool.
Like, okay, that's pretty cool. How
Yeah.
the different, which also makes you wonder, in that armor, what else does that armor have? What else does it have like a cooling or a heating system that can heat his body, keep his body warm,
Oh, yeah.
or the desert planet cool, keep it cool.
Right.
Um, how does that work, or is it just, you know, wherever he's at, he's like, he's on Tatooine, he's burning up because he's in
Right.
basically a suit of armor.
I was thinking that when
Um,
he had to walk back, after the speeder broke, when he was walking back with all that stuff, I was just thinking about that scene
yeah.
contrasted with the scene with Finn
Uh,
on Jakku, where he's like taking off his armor the whole time, just like every step of the way
yeah,
when he's walking through the desert. Obviously, the
yeah.
Mandalorian can't do that, but yeah, maybe somewhere in that jetpack,
Well,
there's also a cooling system.
I think now we've established that there are four types of planets in the Star Wars universe. You're either in a city planet,
Hmm.
a desert planet,
Hmm.
a jungle planet, or frozen planet.
Right. Yeah. No, I was interested. Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
I was interested to hear them say estuary planet for the I think it's Trask that they're going to. That's a new one to me, but you're right.
Yes.
It's similar enough to like what the forest moon or the Wookiee planet or something like that. Those could all
Well,
be
they said
familiar.
Trask is going to be the water planet.
Okay. Yeah.
I saw that's going to be the one that everyone thought was going to be the Mon Calamari planet. It is not. It's going to be Trask.
It's gonna be Trask. Okay.
But when everybody saw that it was the water planet, that they were going to have a water planet, everyone automatically assumed they're going to go to Mon Cal.
Okay.
Um, but it looks like we're going to see Mon Calamari in the episode,
Cool.
but we're not
I still
actually
haven't
going to
watched
Mon
any
Cal.
trailers or anything like that. So, but glad to see that.
So, um, yeah. Now, as we see her in, yes. Did seeing the little eggs there? Did that give you alien vibes?
Oh, immediately. I've never even seen the movie Alien. I just know it's like in the lexicon enough that we walked in that
Yeah.
room and I saw those little things and I went face huggers. And then I was
Huggers.
so upset that I was right as soon as he opened one. I
Yeah,
was like,
yeah.
"Oh, I was kidding. I was
Um,
kidding."
yeah. When he opens it up and you see the little spider thing and he eats it and you're just like, oh. But
Well,
hey, Baby Yoda like eggies.
I
I
mean,
I
yeah,
don't
we
know.
know he likes eggs. We know he can't not touch things. We know he wanders off. Um, but immediately, when that's the other thing, I talked to a little bit about this with the biologist. Is this is like a thing that happens on Earth? Is that once one egg hatches, there are pheromones released, and other eggs in the same clutch will hatch because you don't
Hatch.
want to be the last one out
Yeah.
of the egg. It gives you a disadvantage. And so as soon as
Hmm.
one opens, even if it's prematurely by being peeled open, the other ones, pop open and start.
Mm.
And so as soon as he opened
That
the
was
one, I was
that.
just like, "You're surrounded." No.
No.
Yeah, I did
Yeah.
not enjoy that scene.
Oh. That was. But again, that was taken from uh, actually directly from and concept art from Ralph McQuarrie,
Yes.
who did a lot of the concept art for the original trilogy. You also saw these spiders in Rebels in a couple of episodes.
Yeah, I
They
because I
showed
went and
up.
looked it up afterwards. So it's also in the Wildlife Field Guide from Terrell Whitlatch. But yeah, so she saw the Ralph McQuarrie
Hmm.
art from Empire, and they're supposed to be on Dagobah, I guess, was where they were gonna run into it. So she had like made this whole natural history
Yeah.
cycle where they get old and they turn into trees basically, but they start as these young spiders. Um, and so I talked to her. That's
Mm,
another one of the little mini episodes this week is my chat with Terrell about what would be different on an ice planet for these spiders versus what she originally drew,
spiders.
which was
Yeah.
Dagobah, and what Ralph McQuarrie originally drew, which was Dagobah. So
Dagobah. Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, they show up in the show Rebels too. Not on an ice planet, on of all things, just like a normal planet, not like a desert planet, more of like a rocky mountainous planet.
oh, oh yeah, I guess there are
Um,
also
for
volcanic planets, right? We forgot that one.
Yeah, we got, yeah, the volcano planets too.
So
Um, but but yeah, that was I wrote on, so it's like, so we go from tremors to arachnophobia.
yeah, which I've never seen because again, terrified of spiders. Um,
Again, yeah.
I have to say that was the worst sequence for me. So there's one of the Harry Potter movies that has a whole spider sequence that I knew was coming because I read the books.
Hmm.
There's a Doctor Who episode that I watched that has, spiders. There's Lord of the Rings, right, where the spiders are coming.
Yeah.
But the combination of the sizes, the noises they were making when they crawled across the cockpit, like, oh, ugh, the lowering from the ceiling part, I was
Oh,
like climbing up the back of the couch while I was watching it,
yeah,
and
and
very upset
just
at my
seeing
friends who
all
didn't
of
warn
them,
me.
like it wasn't the fact it was just one of them. It was the fact that you have, and the big ones weren't the ones that got me. It was the smaller ones, just crawling all over the place and trying
Everywhere.
to get in, and just oh,
Yeah. I don't know how he ever
um,
sleeps on that ship ever again without the like feeling, the sensation that they're somewhere.
yeah,
Yeah. But
yeah.
I did watch it twice, for
Um, and the
the
next note
podcast.
I have is I said, oh, go ahead.
No, okay. Can you still hear me?
Um, my next note, I hear you. Yeah. The next note I put down was, I said, no wonder the rebels won. They can actually hit things, because it seemed like they were actually
Yeah, and not blowing holes in
they
the ship
seem
at
to
the
be
same
pretty good
time, which
shots.
is amazing. I don't know what bullets they were
Yeah, yeah.
using that kill spiders, but not enter the ship at
Um,
all.
I saw something that said what type of blasters they were using, and it was the same kind that we saw in Empire Strikes Back on Hoth. They
Okay,
were using those in the scene, the battle scene at the Battle of Hoth, where you see them with the kind of rifle
right. Okay,
blasters. That was those.
in the trenches or
Which
whatever.
I'm wondering where they fit those on their in their cockpit, because it doesn't seem like there's a lot of room in the cockpit for
Yeah, that's
a
true.
full on rifle,
That's true. Maybe
unless
they
it's
like
something
strap
that,
on the side outside or something.
yeah.
Interesting. I
A
didn't.
nice little touch on the X-wing is you see a little TIE fighter painted on the side.
Oh,
Kind of right by the cockpit, you see a little. It's like a little, about like this big, like a tally mark of
cool.
the TIE fighters that they've
Okay.
shot down. So you
I'll have
see
to go
you
back and
see
look.
one, I believe it is on
Okay.
Filoni's X-wing has one, and was it as me, or were they kind of jerks to him?
Yeah, they were, but
They
I
were,
like that. I actually like this sort of, real life, bureaucratic kind of stuff. So yeah, the fact that they were like, no, we could arrest
yeah,
you.
yeah,
We've
or
already helped you enough. Like, um, and I also
yeah,
like that,
you're on your, yeah, just
right, you're on your own. You dicked us around all day. Like we don't want to be here either, buddy.
yeah.
We were just on routine patrol. So I thought that was very realistic, and it also meant that
Yeah.
he wasn't out of the woods. He wasn't just miraculously
uh,
saved. So
Free, yeah, yeah. It was like, we'll e off with a warning this time, but
I mean,
make sure we don't catch you again around these parts,
and really, they're leaving him to freeze to death
type
on
of
this
thing.
planet. So maybe a little bit extreme of a punishment, but it worked out.
Yeah. Oh, it did. Of course it did. he's resourceful. They knew he's a Mandalorian. He's resourceful.
There you go. Maybe that's it. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so we leave the episode with them getting off the planet and lipping on to their next destination,
Right. And again, a little bit of Serenity
which
vibe for
will be
me where
the
he takes off and the ship is listing and, exploding and stuff as he drives.
yeah
That seemed very,
yeah I like that it's um and I hope they go into like this is not like the next scene we see it perfect, the Razor Crest perfectly repaired, but we actually see it like him going on saying like, hey, I got to get this repaired, so um
right.
I'm wondering if we're going to get like a lot more creatures because one thing with Dave Filoni was really big on creatures,
Oh,
especially in Rebels. There's a lot of animals that you see in the show. You see on the main planet where it's based on Lothal. You see like the Loaf Cat, which you saw in the first season.
right.
It was the cat in the episode where we meet Kara
Under the bar stool, right. Yeah, I definitely
under
missed.
the bar stool. That was a Loaf Cat.
Okay.
The Loaf Wolf, the space whales. They got space whales, which is a whole thing in that
Oh, we're
giant
gonna see
whales that
Purgils?
I don't know if we're gonna see Purgles or not. That would be cool.
That would be
That would
so
be cool
cool.
to see Purgles.
No, I've really noticed because I love the wildlife stuff. The Force Fest panel I hosted and the Star Wars Insider articles I write about are all about wildlife of Star Wars. So I'm loving this,
Mhm.
emphasis on, whole episodes, are wrapped around, some sort of wildlife. I would love it if they weren't always the bad guy, I think. So far it's been like, we must kill the crate dragon.
Yeah,
We must kill all these spiders. And, I don't love that devastation, but I do love getting to see more wildlife on screen and having it not just be a quick wipe on the way to,
more the wild. Yeah, more the creatures.
yeah. So if that's Dave Filoni's influence, then
Yeah,
I'm a fan. So,
yeah, yeah. These are two definitely, especially this one. These are two definitely episodes of The Mandalorian. At least for the time being, my daughter. I probably won't let my daughter see for a while.
just
She's only 6, so
a little,
seeing giant spiders. eh,
yeah. I wouldn't have handled it very
yeah,
well as a 6-year-old, certainly, but I'm a bit of a
no.
wuss.
I mean,
Um,
she loves animals, so she wants to be a veterinarian when she grows up.
oh, cool. Very cool.
So
Well, yeah, so maybe not the,
yeah,
mass killing of animals, if nothing else. If that's really the part that does bum me out, like I said, is, the crate dragon, the whole crux of episode 1 was let's kill this crate dragon who's, in my opinion, kind of minding its own business. And then, same with the spiders in this one is they're just minding their own business and get, completely wiped out,
yeah.
which
You were in there. You were in. Yeah. But yeah, so that kind of wraps up that episode 10. Again, I didn't catch the runtime. Did you catch what the runtime
this
was
one
for
was
this
like 40
episode?
minutes. So more
40 minutes? A little
closer
bit
to,
shorter than the last one,
yeah, definitely. So which was interesting. I mean, in
but
general I enjoy that they're just as long as they need to be. They're not filling it out with 20 more minutes
yeah,
that we don't need. They're not,
yeah.
cutting things that maybe we'd love to see. So I'm open to it. Just hard to plan around.
I like that. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yeah. I like yeah, now that you mentioned it, I do like that you said it perfectly. They're as long as they need to be.
yeah. We don't
This
have to
was
aim
one
for
that was
42
just as
minutes.
long as it needed to be.
Yeah. So,
Yeah,
um,
and I think an hour with this one would have been too long.
right. We got everything we needed to
I
get.
think that would have been yeah. So, so thoughts on where you think we're going to be next week? We're going to Trask, which looks like it's going to be a water planet.
Yeah, that sounds interesting. I'm certainly interested in this. Yeah, estuary planet. I if we pick up right where we leave off, I think that'll be interesting again, the way we did between episodes 1 and 2. I mean, I'm not a linguist or a parent, but I do feel like the child is getting a little bit closer to speech, and I'm sort of wondering if that's going to happen sometime this season. Yeah, I guess I'm just interested to see the
Mm,
next hijink, on a different planet. So, how about you?
yeah. Well, I'm interested to see because looks like from the trailer, and I know you haven't seen the trailer, that we're going to get our first look at a possibly another Mandalorian.
Ah, okay.
Um, the rumor is now I've heard rumors both for and against, but I wouldn't be surprised if we don't run into Sabine Wren from Rebels in this episode.
Okay.
One of the main characters in the Rebels cartoon, played this time by, of all things, a WWE wrestler
Oh,
uh, named Sasha Banks, who's going to be playing the is playing a character in it. So first guest, other guest, role. And I'm just wondering when we're going to get the rest of the uh, everybody else in it.
yeah, yeah.
When's Kara going to show up?
Right. When's Carver
When
gonna
is
show up? When are we gonna get that whole gang back together? Or
yeah, and when is the Moff going to show? When is Moff Gideon going to show back up?
right.
We already know he has the dark saber, so
Yeah.
that's I'm waiting for them to explain, more in explanation for that.
Right.
For those who haven't seen Rebels or haven't seen Clone Wars, they may not know the importance of the dark saber and just how important it is to Mandalorian culture and Mandalorian history and in stuff like that. So I'm looking forward to that in the future.
Yeah. No, I think these are fun,
So
sort of
I'm hoping
split
that
up
we get these
episodes.
kind of
Yeah. I think these were fun
yeah.
episodes, but yeah, we're not really getting to what I assume is going to be the crux of the plot. So I'm hoping that take three, right? Episode three of trying to find a real Mandalorian will take, and then that will sort of start driving the plot farther forward. Because yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah, then from there on they move. Yeah. Well, I believe that will do it for this week's episode. Melissa, why don't you tell people where they can find you at?
Yeah, I am Melissa Truth on Twitter. I'm also many underscore scientists on Twitter, and I have a website, howmanyscientists.com, where I talk about science representation in pop culture, like Star Wars. And here on this podcast, I guess you can find us as That Was the Way, the Mandalorian After Show on YouTube and Facebook and Anchor. How about you, John? Tell us about your other
All right.
projects.
Well, you could also email us at thatwastheway2020 at gmail.com. For me, you can email me personally at johntolley3930. I'm also on Twitter at John Tolley1 because I am John Mark Tolley1 because I'm the number one John Mark Tolley on Twitter. um, the other project I have, of course, I host a little Star Wars show called War of the Stars, a Star Wars podcast. You can catch us out on um, anywhere fine podcasts are heard. Just search War of the Stars, a Star Wars podcast. Facebook, John Mark at John Mark Tolley. Just look for me. You'll find me. I'm all over the place. Other than that, that's about it.
Yeah.
So
I have one question for you,
until
John.
next,
Do you think
yes.
uh do you think that someone in the Star Wars canon will eventually rename frog the language and the species? Because I find that to be almost insultingly too simple, considering all of the other species names and language names we get in this.
I'm hoping so. I'm hoping that somewhere down the line that someone gives them an
Yeah,
um official name on for what they are. So,
yeah. It's like they ran out of budget
but
or
for
something.
now they're just frog people.
Yeah, I feel like they could have workshopped that for
Yeah,
30 seconds or something.
frog. Yeah,
All right,
they'll
that was
probably
my
say something.
last
No,
word.
no. The place is like, no.
Yeah, unforgivable
All
in
right.
my opinion. So,
Well, yeah. Well, until next week. Uh, this was the way.
This was the way. That was the way. Thanks, John.
That was the way.